Okay, this is the standard picture of the model of the age of the universe, the Big Bang. You could find this online anywhere just by doing a quick search. And notice it says 3.77 billion years of this alleged age. Notice there's nothing on the left. There's no beginning. They have no idea what existed prior to this. We'll be covering all of that. Also, that the age is now out at 26.7 billion years, as the James Webb telescope has come to show new information. So now they're going to have to reconfigure everything they said about it. This is a timeline of the early universe, according to them. I got this off of Wikipedia. Let's see. The first 20 minutes of creation, they're going to go through and try and tell you that they knew what happened. Let's see. Planck epoch, 0 seconds. Begins earliest meaningful time. Then they go into the grand unification epoch, 10 to the minus 43 seconds. Oh, geez. So they're telling us this as if it's fact. Electro-weak epoch, 10 to the 30 minus 36th seconds. And look at this. They're going through a whole description of these epochs that they created, and they are presenting it as if it's fact. Now, just take a look at this. They're making up these names to these so-called epochs, and they are assigning them exact moments in time, down to the seconds, down to the 0 seconds that you saw earlier. Here's some more. Now they're going up to matter and radiation equivalents, 47,000 years, 70,000 years, the cosmic dark age, 370,000 years. Look how factual this looks. Boy, if you were in school studying this stuff, you'd fall for this hook, line, and sinker. 100 million years, that's what happened. 200 to 300 million years first stars began. Look, I'm just going to speed this up because it's ridiculous. They go through literally scores and scores of alleged time that they say they have proven by fact. No, we're going to go into this whole thing about the age of the universe and how it's a theory and then a model conjecture. We're going to go over the skepticism by other scientists about it, the alternative theories. So if you're interested, stick with me. But look, it just keeps going here. They just keep going. I found this on Wikipedia. You can look this up and you can scroll like I'm doing through all of this nonsense, claiming to know the exact age of the universe and exact time frame in which things happened. It's absolutely incredible. All right, let's move on to the next subject at hand here. Oh, wait, it's still going. I try to do it fast so that you guys can see how absurd it is, because we've got to get through this. There's so much more to cover here. Let's see, recent history, 11.8 billion years. See, they're telling you exactly when this happened, right? Oh, fact, all fact. Okay, finally to the end. All right, let's move on now. This is a paper from the Royal Astronomical Society published in July of 2023. The upper right-hand corner, you can see the link there. Please type that in your browser and you'll get this exact paper. If there's no link, you have to type it in manually. Just do a little homework. The word model appears in this paper a whopping 181 times. Now, a model is a model. It's something that they create based on observations, but on mathematical principles. And it's not fact. Now, what happened was when they got the information from the James Webb telescope, read what it says there under the red underline. It stretches the age of the universe to 26.7 billion years. Now, that means they have to undo everything we just saw. All those exact time measurements they claim were factual. That's all going to change now. It has to. Because the new information is telling you the universe is practically double what they've been telling you for the last, 50 years, 100 years. All right, let's move on. Okay, what we first have to ask is, what is the scientific method? The scientific method involves careful observation coupled with rigorous skepticism because cognitive assumptions can distort the interpretation of the observation. Scientific inquiry includes creating a hypothesis, through inductive reasoning, testing it through experiments and statistical analysis, and adjusting or discarding the hypothesis based on the results. Down at the bottom, a scientific hypothesis must be falsifiable, implying that it is possible to identify a possible outcome of an experiment or observation that conflicts with predictions deduced from the hypothesis. Otherwise, the hypothesis cannot be meaningfully tested. Now, let's look at falsifiability, what it means. A theory or hypothesis is falsifiable or refutable if it can be logically contradicted by an empirical test. Okay, so what empirical test can they possibly do to go back to the beginning of time? Can you tell me, please? You saw where they're claiming they can go down to the 0 seconds of the alleged Big Bang and tell you that it's truth, that it's fact. So how can they tell you that when they cannot possibly produce an empirical test? It's all an illusion, my friends. Okay, we're going to look into some competing theories on the Big Bang, but first I just wanted to present this to you. On the top there, you'll see, as such, physics may conclude that time did not exist before the Big Bang. Once again, as such, physics may conclude that time did not exist before the Big Bang. This is what I've been saying, and many others that believe in God. There had to be something outside of time and space that created the Big Bang, if you even believe in that, or that created the universe at all. Something outside of time must have done that. Okay, that's just a side note. Let's look at some of these other competing models. There are others. These are the basics. You'll see quantum fluctuations there, or the emergent universe, models in which the whole of space-time is finite, the brain cosmology model, the eternal inflation model. Proposals in the last two categories see the Big Bang as an event in either a much larger and older universe or in a multiverse. Okay, so this is where you get the theories of multiverses and, or that we're in some kind of an illusion or the Matrix. Okay, let's move on again. Regarding the criticisms of the Big Bang, one particular thing that they talk about is this inflationary period or inflationary paradigm. And that is what is the real problem with the Big Bang. They base these predictions and their so-called facts down to the 0 seconds of the beginning based on this inflationary concept. Nevertheless, many physicists, mathematicians, and philosophers of science have voiced criticisms claiming untestable predictions and a lack of serious empirical support. We do not think that there are, as yet, good grounds for admitting any of the models of inflation into the standard core of cosmology. As pointed out, in order to work, inflation requires extremely specific initial conditions of its own, so that the problem or pseudo-problem of initial conditions is not solved. The problem of specific or fine-tuned initial conditions would not have been solved. It would have gotten worse. Inflation isn't falsifiable, it's falsified. Bicep did a wonderful service by bringing all the inflationists out of their shell and giving them a black eye. A recurrent criticism of inflation is that the invoked inflation field does not correspond to any known physical field and that its potential energy curve seems to be an ad hoc contrivance to accommodate almost any data observable. This is what we've been saying in these so-called debate groups about evolution and creation. These are ad hoc contrivances. They are contrived. They are guesses. They're speculations to accommodate almost any data that they obtain. So now, which is the subject of this whole video, the James Webb telescope has put out there that they need to change the whole Big Bang. The whole time frame has to change. They have to reinvent it from scratch. And what are they doing? Based upon obtainable data, they're trying to accommodate their theory based on the new data, and it's all an ad hoc contrivance. Okay, let's bring this home. We're going to talk about the meaning of life in a second. Let's look at Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. What they're telling us is, in the standard model of the Big Bang, there's been a consensus reached by the scientists. They just decided this is it, and this is fact, and all these models and conjecture is simply They decided. There was a consensus that this is the truth. This model is based on bold extrapolations of existing theories. Let me read that again. This model is based on bold extrapolations of existing theories. Applying general relativity, for example, and requires several novel ingredients. Novel means new. Requires several new ingredients such as dark matter and dark energy, which have never been seen or can really be detected. They're based on mathematical models that they should be there in order to accommodate this theory. Let's talk about the meaning of life, shall we? If one is going to consider cosmology seriously, it is incumbent on one to take seriously the full range of data appropriate to that enterprise. That is, the data needed for the attempted scope of such a theory must include data to do with the meaning of life, as well as data derived from telescopes, laboratory experiments, and particle colliders, and must thus include data about good and evil, life and death, fear and hope, love and pain, writings from the great philosophers and writers and artists who have lived in human history and have pondered the meaning of life on the basis of their life experience. And this is the final point that just really brings it home. To produce books saying that science proves there is no purpose in the universe is pure myopia. It just means that one has shut one's eyes to all the data that relates to purpose and meaning, and that one supposes that the only science is physics. Well, I dare say that I think it's certainly more than that the universe being studied shows the glory of God, the Creator. If you share that opinion with me, I welcome your comments. But if they get abusive, I'm going to delete them. In the meantime, I'd just like to thank you for staying with me this far. Hope you enjoyed this little presentation. May God bless you. Thanks. Bye for now.